Okay, are you ready to start the tabouli? Block out like an hour of your time. Warm up your wrist because you're going to be slicing up a lot of business. All right. The first thing is the ingredients. You're going to need some couscous. So this is fine. You can get this at Publix. You're going to need 2 large cucumbers, couple of lemons. I use 2 bunches of green onions, 2 bunches of parsley. Oh my God, wait till we get to the parsley part. You're gonna be like, no, thank you. But it's worth it, trust me. I got my hand slapped for not doing it right once when I was making it as a youngster, so I make it right now. I still have PTSD. You're gonna need about 3 tomatoes. You're gonna need some vegetable oil or mazola, corn oil, whatever you have is just fine. And some salt and some pepper. The first thing we need to do though is you need to soak this smid, which is the Lebanese name for the couscous. You're gonna need about 2 cups of it. So I have some of it open that I knew wasn't quite 2 cups. So we're gonna do the 2 cups and I'll show you how to soak it. There's about 2 cups. Put it in like a large container like this, and you want to pour enough water on it just to cover it, okay? So that's about enough. I put a couple of cups of water over it, and you see how the water, it just covers it, and you're going to set that aside because in about 10 minutes or so the couscous is going to have soaked up that water and you're going to soak it again. So let's just set that aside, and while that is soaking up, you're going to go clean all of you're gonna clean everything and get it ready to start chopping it up. All right, we'll be back. If you've never cleaned a green onion, you want to just chop off this little fuzzy end. You want to chop off that little fuzzy end and throw that away. And then as you're washing it in the sink, you're gonna see little parts of it that just want to peel off at the end that might not be as pretty as the rest of it. Just that's all you want to do is you want to get rid of that like that. Until it's pretty, and then wash it all. And you're gonna use it up until about here because you're gonna use some of the green stuff, okay? Go. It's been about 10 minutes. I'm gonna show you what happened to the couscous. See how it's all soaked up all that water? So now we're gonna do it again. We're gonna just pour more water in it. All right? It's gonna like triple itself in size. So now we have more water in it and we're gonna set that aside. And all of my veggies are washed and prepared for slicing. So I'll show you first the green onions. You just want those to be in tiny little pieces like this. And I'm cutting them, but I am gonna show you what I'm doing here. So, okay, so they look like this. So you just want them to be cut in little discs and rounds like that. And I use about this much of the green. So I'm gonna slice all of those and I'm gonna throw them in the tabouli bowl, okay? So we'll be back. Okay, so we're back with the green onion thing. See, they're all chopped up and we're gonna put those in the bowl. Now listen, I was thinking about this while I was, sorry. I was thinking about this while I was chopping the green onions. You go to Publix and buy tabouli and you're gonna see white onion chopped up in there. No, I'm sorry, no, that's wrong. Okay, you have to use the green onion. So get your green onion and get it all in the bowl. And it doesn't matter what order you do this in because you're gonna just mix it all up together. It's just those are the easiest and the most fun. Because then when you do your cucumbers, they have to be chopped into little tiny pieces. So sometimes I will cheat and use a food processor or the chopper that you saw me use when I made the tzatziki. And if you haven't seen that video, you're gonna want the tzatziki to go with the grape leaves. And if you haven't seen that video, you're gonna want the grape leaves to go with your tabouli. So we're gonna chop everything up that is going to be in pieces that are similar to this size, okay? Your cucumbers about that size, your tomatoes about that size, and we're gonna talk about the parsley last because oh my God, the parsley. We have chopped up our tomatoes and cucumbers and green onions, and you see how pretty that is? It's so pretty, and it's like so good for you, all right? And now we're ready to deal with our couscous. So you see how it has now absorbed the second gig of water. So you're just gonna get your hand in there, get it up next to your bowl, get your hand in there and squeeze it. You know, kind of like when you're at the beach and you're playing in the sand when you're little, if you grew up in Florida, like me. Okay, so you squeeze it and then it's a dry little ball and you just toss it in, okay? So you're gonna do that for a while and you're gonna see the water start to gather in the couscous bowl, and that's fine because you can just pour that off a little bit at a time as you go. All right, so once we get all of this in the bowl, we'll come back and we'll talk about the parsley. Okay, are you ready? We're gonna do the parsley. So you've already washed your parsley. Now, another thing, if you get tabouli and there are stems in your tabouli, parsley stems, send it back, because this is the part that I have trauma over, where when I was younger and I didn't properly clean all of the stems off the parsley and my grandmother picked it back out of the tabouli and was like, no, do it again. I mean, she was a badass. I mean, when I was in the tub at 4 years old and she was giving me a bath and I got soap in my eyes and I started crying and she's like, you stop that crying. I'm like, are you kidding me? And then like soap when I was 4 years old was like a lie, okay? Like we didn't have no Johnson's no more tears business. So you did what my grandmother said. So what you wanna do is you wanna take your parsley and you wanna squeeze it to the edges and just clip off just the pretty flowery parts and drop them in a bowl. Just the pretty flowery parts, drop them in a bowl. And then you're left with all of this. Can you see it? And then you drop that in another bowl. Then you pick up the next piece of parsley. And you do the same thing, all right? So you're gonna end up having a bowl full of, you know, the fluffy part of the parsley and then a bowl of the stems, and you're just gonna ditch the stems. But I'm telling you right now, this is the part where you wanna put on some good music, you wanna sit down, because this part is gonna take you far about, okay? So, all right, we'll be back in about 5 hours when I'm done doing all this with the parsley, okay? Okay, here we are back with the parsley. Here's your stems. Here is what your parsley should look like. You're just gonna ditch the stems, but your parsley should look like this, all right? And what you're gonna do is you're gonna take a handful of it and put it on a cutting board. Make sure you have a super sharp knife, and I'm gonna show you how you're going to cut all of this up. Do I look older? Because I've had like 4 birthdays since I started the parsley. But what you're gonna do now, after you've done all that to the parsley, you've got your clump here on the cutting board. You wanna squish it all up real tight, get it in a little squishy little ball. Get a very sharp knife, okay? And you're going to cut that up into tiny little bits. You wanna really get that nice and fine in there. You know, you could probably use a food processor for this, but I'm old school with it, but I 100%, and then I kind of get it kind of this way. 100% condone the food processor for this portion if you have one. So then you're just gonna pick all that up. It's all nice and chopped real small, and dump it in your bowl that you have already added the cracked wheat, the couscous, the tomatoes, the green onions, and the cucumber, okay? So once you've done this whole bowl of parsley, and it's in there, then we'll come back and we'll mix up the lemon and oil and salt and pepper and mix it all together, and you'll be done. It's delicious. Okay, all of the parsley is in. You can see that you're gonna need a ginormous bowl for this because it makes quite a bit. Feel free to half this recipe if you want to, but I always make this much because we just eat it and eat it and eat it, and you can give some to a friend and they'll be like, oh my God, you made tabouli. And you're like, yeah, it took me 5 hours. So enjoy it. All right, so what you wanna do, and you can see that a lot of this Lebanese food is hands-on. You gotta get your hands in there. It's like gardening, all right? So just wash your hands and get them on in there. So what I do before I add the lemon and oil is I just give it a toss, okay? A gentle toss, mix everything up so that, you know, you break up the couscous a little bit, you get on in there. It's super fun. It's kind of like, you know, being a kid and playing with Play-Doh. So get on in there. And once it's fairly mixed together, you're going to want to juice probably go with 2 lemons to start off with, and the couscous is going to absorb that lemon quite a bit. So what's going to happen is you're going to do this, and then like in an hour you're going to go, oh, it doesn't taste like I put anything in it, and right, because it's soaked all up. So you're going to have to do it again, and then probably in like 2 or 3 hours, and even better tomorrow, it's going to be absolutely delicious. All right, so we're going to mix. We're gonna squeeze 2 lemons on here, and we're gonna do about a 1/4 cup of oil. So be right back. Now with your lemons, there's been like debate on whether or not if you take the lemon and you roll the lemon, it might give you more juice. I tend to believe that it does. I don't know if that's true or not, but you just want to slice those in half and get your little citrus squeezing gig. Again, I showed you this one in one of my videos. I just don't remember which one, but get one of these. It's awesome. And just take it and squeeze it around. Oh, I think it was in the grape leaf video when we put lemon in the brine. All right, so you're gonna do this with about 2 lemons. You can fast forward this if you don't. I just don't want to stop the gig again right now. And then after we do this, we're gonna pour on about a 1/4 cup of oil, all right, which I'm going to just guesstimate. So I have just regular Wesson vegetable oil right here. You don't really want to use olive oil in this. It just gives it a different taste. So just some vegetable oil or corn oil or whatever. So I'm gonna eyeball about a 1/4 cup. That's probably it. And then your salt and your pepper. So with the salt, don't add too much right away, but it does need quite a bit of salt because that couscous is kind of, okay? So you can go moderate on the salt. And I would say maybe a 1.5 teaspoons, 2 teaspoons, just kind of figure that out. And then also with your fresh black pepper. Now, once you get this in, you want to stop digging your hands in there because now you have oil and all kinds of yuck that's going to be on your hands. So this is the point where I'll get 2 spoons and I'll just kind of mix it all through and toss it. So you're just going to want to take it and mix that oil and lemon together with your salt and pepper, and that's it. That's all you're going to do. So once you've done all that, you let it sit and you taste it and you're like, it needs more salt or it needs more lemon, or you just kind of figure that out on your own. But look how pretty that is. It's so pretty. Enjoy.